to my channel. I apologize if you hear my baby Grayson crying in the background. I swear he's fine. He's with his dad, but we're dealing with separation anxiety. So anytime that I leave the room, he just loses it. And yeah, so he's okay, I promise. It is what it is. So today's video is going to be a fun one. I don't know if this has been done before. I'm sure it has, but I thought it'd be fun to do kind of like names that I almost named my baby, if that makes sense. Like names that I almost named my child. For those of you who don't know, I have a 1-year-old named Grayson. He is my rainbow baby, and his name took my husband and I a while to kind of figure out, kind of settle with. It wasn't until I was almost in my 3rd trimester, I want to say, or maybe already in my 3rd trimester, that we settled and decided on a name, because we went through quite of a list. We just went back and forth. It was really hard. Like I didn't think we were gonna come up with a name until the birth. So yeah. So I totally forgot to mention in my last episode, but I started a podcast. Yes, I started a podcast with my cousin. It's called To The Moms, and we are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube as well. So I'm gonna link it down below. It would mean so much to me if you would listen in. It's basically about motherhood. We are just 2 moms trying to figure out this mom thing, and we share lots of our experiences. Yeah, so it's actually been a while since we started. Now I'm like blanking. I want to say we started sometime in August, end of August or early September. But we have quite a bit of episodes so far. So yeah, definitely give us a listen. I hope you guys really enjoy the podcast. It's been such a fun hobby of mine, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. So yeah, getting back to this video. So as I said, it took us a long time to figure out Grayson's name, and I've always had a name list on my phone of names that I've always liked, but Grayson was never on there. So it wasn't until my husband randomly brought it up one day. He was like, what do you think of the name Grayson? And initially I thought, I've heard it, I really like it, but I feel like it's really trendy. I don't know, but I love it, and I can't imagine my son being named anything else. I think the name really suits him. Sometimes we call him Gray for short, and it's funny because my husband's nickname is Blue, so it's kind of cute, like the play on colors, blue and gray. But yeah, we call him Gray, Gray boy. There's just so many nicknames that we have with him. So anyways, funny fact about me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not, but I have attachments to TV characters and names. And I know that sounds like a bit dramatic, a little bit. So for example, when my mom was pregnant with my sister, Twilight was huge at the time. Now my sister's 14 years old. So yeah, when my mom was pregnant, it was freaking huge. So when my mom found out that she was having a girl, I was like, her name is going to be Isabella, Bella for short. And my mom was like, okay, well, I guess I don't have a choice. So her name is Isabella, and we call her Bella. But yeah, I was literally obsessed with Twilight, and I've always loved the name Isabella. So even down to her middle name. So my favorite sitcom growing up was Full House. So yeah, if you're already thinking it, we went with Michelle. So that's my sister's middle name, Michelle. I've always loved that character. So yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know if it's like me hearing the name when I'm watching a TV or a movie and loving it, or maybe being a little attached to a character. I don't know, or maybe it's just a coincidence, right? So yeah, Isabella Michelle. So that's one example of what I was trying to get at with you guys. So if you guys are new here, I lost my first son at I was 19 weeks pregnant, 18, almost 19 weeks. I like to say 19 weeks because it was literally when I turned 19 weeks. His name was Liam. Like I said, I lost him at 19 weeks, And Liam is my favorite boy name of all time. Like, the obsession started way, way, way back then. So, and again, this is like random, but growing up, my cousins, one of my cousins' neighbors was friends with this actor kid, and his name is Liam. I don't even remember like what his last name is, but he was filming for like a really big movie at the time. And I remember when my cousin was telling me about this, I thought, oh my God, that's my future son's name. Like, I love that name. And yeah, like, it always stuck with me. So I always said, if I ever have a boy, his name is going to be Liam. And then fast forward a little bit in high school, I was huge on the show 90210, and one of the main characters' names is Liam, and I love his character. So that just kind of solidified it even more. Like, all of my friends in high school knew that that was my favorite name, and that, like, I claimed that shit, okay? So yeah, when I was pregnant with Liam, unfortunately my husband wasn't sold on the name initially. He said it was too basic, too common, and we were actually going to go with the name Hudson, which I'm not crazy about because I have too much of an association with Hudson, being that I live on the Northeast. If you know, you know. But anyways, we were gonna name him Hudson, and then I ended up having this dream, and I saw the name Liam and like neon letters at a carnival, and I told my husband it's Liam. The name's Liam. So we went with Liam Hudson. So yeah, that's my attachment to that name. So fast forward with Grayson, my husband was still on board with the Hudson name, and I was like, no, we're not. Right before I found out that I was pregnant, we were kind of thinking about names and going through my list, and we settled on the name DeLuca. I loved, I don't love it anymore, but I had loved the name DeLuca, and I mentioned it to my husband, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love it. And it kind of has some meaning because his mom's nickname is Luca, and so she goes by Luca, and then his brother's name is Lucas. So it kind of makes sense. And but then I became pregnant, and I started watching Grey's Anatomy for the first time in my life. And as you guys know, if you've seen Grey's Anatomy, there's a character named DeLuca, and I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that character, okay? Not just that, but I just thought, well, like, every time I mention people my son's name, if they've seen Grey's Anatomy, like, that's the association they're gonna think of, you know? So we checked that off the list. Now we were gonna go with Lucas. I love the name Lucas. I also love One Tree Hill. So again, like, the whole character TV thing, I don't know what it is, but his brother's name is also Lucas. And I think that's why I didn't want to go with it, because there's already a Lucas in the family. I wanted my baby to just have a unique name, and yeah, so we decided not to go with Lucas. And then my husband was still sold on Hudson, so we contemplated with that one for a little while. The next name that I almost named my baby is Noah. I love Noah. The Notebook. I know I need to stop, but I love that name. I think it's so sweet, and it's short. I love short names. We didn't go with Noah because one of my husband's cousin has 2 boys, and one of them's name is Noah, which brings me to the next name, Jackson. We love that name, but this girl literally named her boys Noah and Jackson. Plus, also, I think Jackson is just way too popular right now. Like, I know way too many Jacksons. So I'm glad we didn't go with those, but I do really love those names. The next one, we were actually like, okay, this is his name. I had told my parents. We were not calling the baby that because we didn't know the gender at the time, but when I thought about, oh, like, if we have a boy, baby this. Yeah, so the name is Nathaniel, and I might have mentioned that name in a video that I did with my husband of baby names we love but won't be using. Some or most of these are probably going to be on that list. But yeah, Nathaniel, I've always loved that name. Yes, there is a character, but it's not because of the character that I've always loved this name. I love this name ever since I've been friends with my roommate from college. Her last name, her maiden name is Nathaniel, and I've always loved that name. But yeah, Gossip Girl, Nate Archibald, Nathaniel Archibald. I love that character. That's like my favorite guy character in Gossip Girl. But at the time, my husband's boss's name was Nathaniel. So we thought that was weird. It would have been too weird. Too weird. So we decided to cross that off the list, even though I love that name. And honestly, I may consider that for if we end up having another boy. So, okay, now I gotta pull up my name list because I'm forgetting what other names we thought about. And I didn't really write down an outline for this video or talking points. I'm kind of just going off of what I remember. So a couple other ones that I have on here that we considered. Lincoln, I love that name, and I think Link for short is really cute. We thought of that name though after watching Gray's Anatomy. There is a character on there named Lincoln. I actually really do like that character, so yeah, Lincoln is really good, and who knows, maybe we'll consider that one too. Another name that's up there with Nathaniel, like after we crossed off Nathaniel, we were actually sold on this one for a little bit, Ashton. To be honest, we probably would have gone with that name had we not thought of Grayson. And I'll tell you why, because I had told my husband, I was like, if we can't think of another name, Ashton is going to be his name, and he agreed. So yeah, that was actually going to be his name up until like I said, my third trimester, that we thought, no, we're gonna go with this name. So yeah, Ashton. And I love Ashton Kutcher, but that's not, you know, why. Another name that we considered is Anderson. My husband loves that name, and I think if it were up to him, he probably would have gone with that one, but I don't know, I'm not that crazy about it. I think it reminds me of Andrew too much, and I'm not really a fan of that name. No offense to anyone that has a child or knows someone named Andrew, but I don't know, I'm not crazy about Anderson, so didn't go with that one, obviously. Prescott I really like, but the only thing we didn't like with that one is the nickname. People would probably have called him Scott or Scotty, and I'm just not a fan of those nicknames. I think Scotty for a girl is really cute, but for a guy, we just know too many Scotts and Scotties, so yeah, so that one's like off the list. I also have Caleb. I've always loved Caleb, but my husband doesn't like that name. I've always liked it, but like I said, it was really difficult to figure out a name together. All the names that I like, my husband didn't like, and all the names that he loved, I didn't like. Like, for example, he loves the name Sebastian and he loves James, but I think James is nice, but I just feel like, first of all, there's like a lot of James in his family, and there's just a lot of James in general, and Sebastian, I think of the Little Mermaid. But yeah, I was not a fan of those names. And the names that we did agree on, they were taken. So it wasn't until he randomly mentioned to me, what about the name Grayson? And I thought to myself, I do love that name. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the show Revenge, but I was obsessed with that show in college. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with Daniel Grayson. And I remember when I heard the name, when I watched that for the first time, I thought to myself, like, wow, that'd be a really cool first name. But yeah, I don't know why it was never on my list. And yeah, I absolutely love the name. I know it's popular and, you know, getting common, but I don't care. It's a name, and it suits my baby boy so much. So yeah. Now, I mentioned that I would consider some of these names for a future baby, but I actually do have like the name in place, and my husband also agrees with it. So I'm not going to mention it here because I don't know, should I? I think I will, right? Like, I don't even know if I'm going to have another baby, and who knows if it'll be, you know, boy or girl, but the name is Preston. I love that name. I love it so much. I'm claiming it right now. So if any family or friends are watching this and you're pregnant, you cannot take my name, okay? Because that is my name. So yeah, that's probably what I will go with for baby number 2. And the only reason we didn't go with that one for baby number 1 is because we thought of the name after. Probably from watching a TV show, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, so those are my list of names. Let me know which ones you guys love most. And as always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye.